everybody, happy Friday. How's it going? It's Mother's Day weekend. It kind of snuck up on me, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, I thought we should do a Mother's Day card. So we have two stamp sets that are really good for Mother's Day. It's the Lovely Bouquet, which is this one. And we also have the Greatest Treasure, which is the Dragons, which you guys have seen me do both stamp sets a couple of times. But this one is kind of near and dear to my heart, so I would do it. Hi, Lisa. Long time no talk. I wish I could say long time no see. I wish that we lived closer together, but we are going to do the Lovely Bouquet, which I've already stamped, and we may or may not finish this as a card. And again, we do have another stamp set, actually a couple. We have the, it's the Shiro, it's the Kangaroo. We have the Greatest Treasure, which is the Dragons, and then we've got this one that are really good for Mother's Day. But I just went ahead and stamped these on the diagonal, and you know that I've kind of got them, I've got this one more inward, and that's because I always trim my stuff down. So yeah, if people jump on, can you say hello? That would be awesome sauce. Anyway, we'll go from there. I am not seeing many comments. It's not populating on my iPad or on my computer, so yay me, it's not working. It's so frustrating. Anyway, we're gonna start pulling some markers. You know, the person who makes cards usually is the one that doesn't receive cards because they're, you know, somewhat, I think people are afraid to send them cards. So we're going to do this in the colors that I want. I am going to zoom in a little bit tighter, and you know what comes with that, the focus. Yeah, I don't know why I'm not seeing comments. This is so mad. Maddening, I tell you, maddening. Anyway, all right. We're going to start, even though I'm doing this pink, I am going, for my scary red, I'm going to use the scary pink, I'm going to do in R24. So I am going to map out where this shadow would go. And since these smaller petals are going to be overshadowing this bigger one, we're just going to draw around it. So I can see that on my iPad now. So thank you. And I'm not going to, you know, lie here. This is going to be a little bit on the redundant side on coloring the petals, because I usually go one petal at a time. And I take my time. And I really try to spend some time mapping out my shadows. And I'm using my darkest color because I want them to wash out with my lightest color. So the scary dark is going to have the most pigment in it and the least amount of alcohol, because these are alcohol-based markers. And from there, when you use the lighter colors, it has less pigment and more alcohol. That's why you get the different variations. So I'm just I'm putting in these shadows where the artist has sort of hinted at them, and also where I want to. So, you know, when you look at nature, they're perfectly imperfect. And they all don't look the same. So you can have some striations going down from the tips because these kind of roll out. I forgot to put this post on social media until about an hour and a half ago. So I'm not sure what kind of a turnout we're going to get, but regardless, I'm coloring today because I want to. So did you buy anything besides not shower curtains? Shoot, I don't know what I was in the bathroom talking to you when I was doing my hair. You bought a curtain rods. Did you buy anything else today on your excursion with your girl? So if you don't know, colleges are starting to let out, so this is a really good time to start celebrating graduations too, and we have really cool flashcards for graduations. So, you know, we can hit all the things today. Curtain rods and casserole pan. That's right, because you said you didn't buy, like, it didn't quite come out to a 9x13. And I'm not gonna get into like telling all your business, but I didn't think a curtain rods or a casserole were anything that we couldn't talk about. What kind of flowers were they? Just what were in them? Lemon meringue popcorn is, which is oddly, what? I don't even know what that is. Clearly. When I hear lemon meringue popcorn, I'm thinking that you're actually really thinking I'm talking about popcorn. Are you talking about a flower, or are you talking about actual popcorn? Because I'm hungry. You know that. I'm starving right now. I need some lunch. This is supposed to be a lunch and chat. They have flowers etched inside. Okay. Stone planters, they have flowers etched inside. Cool. All right, so you notice I didn't do these inside petals, and that's because I don't want to be married to any one design yet. So I'm using the R22 as my next color. And the reason I'm flicking these is because flowers usually have like the veining and the striations in them. You can put any kind of link you want. You're supposed to be a moderator on the page. I don't know why, for some reason, you're not coming up with a wrench, because I've sent it to you multiple times, so I don't know. I'm betting that this is one of the first Fridays that have been like really good, like nationwide. And I'm betting that people are probably either out to lunch, like picnicking, or they are like playing hooky from work. And we're not going to see a whole lot of people today, between me not advertising on social media until too late. And with the weather. So as you can see, I'm just kind of working these in. Flowers are usually, everything's from Home Goods. Usually flowers are what takes me the longest to color. And that's because I do go petal to petal, because I know that some people will just color them all, but I really have to think about the bends and the shadows. So that's why it takes me a minute to color. So we may not do this entire image online today. It just depends how it goes, you know. Hi Tracy, good to see you. So we are coloring the Lovely Bouquet. It's a Mother's Day stamp set. I completely forgot that it was Mother's Day weekend, partly because my mom passed away like 20 years ago, and so I don't think about Mother's Day very often as far as like the celebration aspect of it, which is wrong, because my daughter's a mom, and I should probably just give her this card when I'm done. But we've got a couple stamp sets that are Mother's Day related. One is a kangaroo set, and then there's this one that's Lovely Bouquet, and then we've got dragons, which our artist was pregnant at the time, and she loves her some dragons. So I asked her if she wanted to do dragons, and of course she took me up on that. And I'm leaving a little bit of white in here. And this is maddening that that the chat's not showing up on my computer screen. I just, thank goodness for iPads at the last minute. So what I was explaining to Tracy is a lot of times I I do one petal at a time because, you know, some flowers, some petals like bend in and some bend out. And I sometimes struggle with that, but I always start with my Scary Dark, which would be, in this case, the R24. So I'm using a 2-4, a 2-2, a 2-1, and a 20. And normally when I color, I skip a lot of colors, like in the family. But I want this one to be just subtle little steps. So what are you guys going to do for Mother's Day weekend, if anything? I decided I'm going to go ride a roller coaster tomorrow morning. My husband has to work in the morning and he doesn't ride roller coasters. So while he's at work, I am going to go play for a little bit. I'm an adrenaline junkie, if you guys didn't know. I struggle a lot in the winter time because I don't have access to my adrenaline, to my roller coasters. So I love me some sunshine, and I love me some roller coasters. Like, put me on the front row. Oh, my head's in the way. I'm sorry. Put me in the front row and heading with my going straight down 90 miles an hour plus, and I'm a happy girl. Now, the one thing is, I don't like the windy stuff. I like the up and down stuff, but that windy, oh my God, makes me want to throw up. But I love me a roller coaster. And usually if, you know, we go out of town somewhere, I've got the pass where I can go. I don't like waiting in lines, and honestly, I don't like walking like all the parks. So I usually go early in the morning and then I leave. Because who wants to deal with all that jazz and whatever. And honestly, once it gets hot, I have a hard time kind of breathing and all that stuff. So I don't do it. So what do you think of that flower so far? I think I'm going to move on to a leaf. So as long as you're with your loves, you don't care. You're so sweet. You guys make me want to throw up, but I love you. I'm going to go ahead and color some of the leaves, so if anybody jumps on or off, they at least get to see some of the process. So this leaf, I'm going to start with my Scary Dark, which is the YG67, which everybody should know by now is my favorite Copic color. So there's going to be a shadow here where this big old petal is like casting a shadow. And same with that cabbage rose there. And so I'm concentrating that at the bottom. And then on the bottom of the veining of the leaf. See how I'm keeping that under the black line? And then I might just do a few little flicks where the artist put some indentations and where this flower is kind of overlapping. And maybe just a few right at the center vein. Guys, I almost said something. Oh my God, I'm like a child. We have discussed this before. Things that come out of my mouth should never be repeated sometimes. All right, so now I'm taking YG17. And I'm going to extend that shadow underneath. Hey Jane, how are you? Good to see you. If you guys don't know, Jane is illustrating for us, and she's got a few stamps coming out in the next few weeks. So be on the lookout for that. So then I'm just extending those areas in. Okay. And then I do have a YG63, but I'm going to skip all the way down to the YG03 so that we can really brighten up the sleeve. And if I need to add in some color, some striations with that YG63, we can. But, if the sun is shining on our flowers, which this is my Mother's Day card I originally said it was for me, but I'm going to give it to my daughter now. It really brightens that up. Do you see how all of a sudden that comes out as a three-dimensional object? So we're going to do it again here. So we're going to go up where that center vein is, and then we're going to concentrate it underneath that vein. And we're going to do it where the big cabbage rose actually I did that wrong. You guys need to pay attention to my own artwork here. So this part right here is actually part of a flower petal. So I'm going to take my colorless blender, which really is not a blender. It's more of like a pusher or an eraser. And I'm going to push that kind of as far in as we can, because we're going to go over that with our Scary Dark, which is that R24. So I'm going to leave that alone for a minute. Hi Tanya, good afternoon, and happy Mother's Day. We are coloring a Mother's Day card. I was saying that I completely forgot that it was Mother's Day because, I don't buy Mother's Day gifts because I don't have, my mom died so many years ago. And I just, honestly, I think I try to sleep through Mother's Day, quite honestly. But I realized that I should probably pay some homage to some people that matter, which are all the great moms, grandmas, sicket moms, all of those people. So we're coloring today. So that was the YG67, YG17 again. And I'm always turning my paper so it's easier to make my flicks. Some people flick better away from them, and some flick better like towards them. And sometimes you just don't flick very well at all. And I'm kind of having that kind of a day today. But that's what we're doing. Now that was the YG17. Now we're going to use that YG03. And we're going to fill in those areas. Do you see how nicely that kind of came to life? All right, I'm going to do this cabbage rose again in case I lose anybody. So I'm doing like the salmon color, and I'm doing an R24. And this is what I'm calling my Scary Dark. So where this leaf kind of curls up, it's causing a cast shadow there. That's actually a petal. Where this leaf is over the cabbage rose, there is a cast shadow. So you could come in like with a BV23, or you could do the R24, 29, depends on how much of a shadow you really want. So where these come together, there's going to be a shadow. And up here where this rose like curls in completely, there's going to be a shadow. And it's much easier to map out the shadow sometimes than it is just to go in and start coloring. So I usually go like one shadow at a time, or like one petal at a time. In this case, I'm sort of breaking my rules a little bit. So I'm going to start flicking some of these up. And again, they're perfectly imperfect. So you don't have to be all about it. You just need to get some striations in there and some differentiation. Now, this here would also be a shadow because that's a cup, like where the petals kind of curling in. So I went ahead and drew that in, and sometimes I draw those in so I don't forget. Now this little like I'm gonna call it like a triangle. This is going to be a little bit lighter than your lightest part of your flower or your dark. It's going to be not your dark, your scary dark, okay? Because it's on the outside and it's kind of cupping out. So I'm leaving that space white. I'm not going to do anything else with that. And now I'm going to come here with this R2, which is my next color. And I'm going to start filling this in. So this right here I said was going to be a shadow. So I just did that whole thing in R2. And this here is going to be lighter. Okay, so let's work with those petals first. Let's not go any further. Otherwise, I'm going to get confused and you're going to be like, she doesn't know what she's doing. And yeah, we're all learning together. So here we go. And then remember where I put that big cast shadow? I'm just going to leave that just like that. So this is my second midtone, my lightest of the midtones. And now I'm going to come in with my R20. And I'm just going to do a little dabble to you here and there, leaving a lot of white. And again, this is your, your design. You can do whatever you want. If you're coloring it, I'm just telling you how I work about like doing petals and things that fold. So this one technically is going to fold out this direction. Do you see that? And this is going to be under shadow. Can you guys hear my dog snoring? See, I'm starting to get a little bit muddy here about what's what. This piece here is going to be your highlight color because you can see the artist kind of flipped that out. So we're going to make sure that that stays open. All right. So I don't know if you guys have cabbage roses in your garden, but they are all over the place as far as the way they curl and do the things that they do. So you're not really gonna have like this huge, if you're coloring this and you don't know exactly where you're putting your shadows, it's not like you're gonna do yourself wrong, because they're all over the place. At least mine are. Okay, so that was the R2. R21 is next. And I'm barely putting the tip of the marker down. In fact, I'm kind of almost stippling at this point. We were doing full-on flicks, and now we're kind of stippling. And then we can use this R20. You know what, Lisa? I forgot to read that last night. I will read that tonight for tonight's entertainment when I'm trying to go to sleep. Because you told me it would relax me. Okay. So the next thing we can look at is we've got like, I want to say that they're like baby's breath. I never color them like baby's breath because white isn't white. We've talked about that a million times, but I like to do them almost like a blue-green, like a dark blue-green. So I use my BG Which ones are they? BG 72, 75, 78, and then I will even bring in a BG 13, and I know that sounds insane. So there's some like right there, and we are stippling, folks. Stippling. Stippling is the word for the day. So they're just little pockets. You definitely could do these as baby's breath. There's like not a right or wrong answer to this. It's just that it's not what I want to do. So I'm really just stippling that color in. And that was the BG 78. You could skip the 75 if you wanted to, if it was like too hard to do. In fact, I'm going to skip the 72 and I'm going to go to a BG 13. Now, BG 13 is not a normal step. The reason I'm doing that is I want them to kind of pop now. Do you see how that kind of brings that forward? And then if you want to incorporate that same color, so the artist really made these leaves different from the cabbage rose leaves. I left out a whole petal right there. Did you see that? I didn't see it. So we could go ahead and use that same color family. In fact, I'm going to so you can see it on a bigger level. So this is the BG 78. I'm going down the center with it. And kind of on each side towards the bottom. And we're kind of leaving those there. It looks like those same leaves are here. Okay. I just wanted to see which way was the bottom and which wasn't. So where this flower is overlapping, there's a cast shadow. It's just important to know which side is actually your flower. And that looks like those are stems. I'm taking the 75 and I'm keeping the shadow kind of on the left hand side for the most part. Now I am going to use the BG 72. And again, when you're like micromanaging this, you're like, oh, but you have to remember this is going to be like just part of the picture. Let's repeat this down here. Left hand side. We're just trying to give the leaves a little bit of differentiation from the other flowers with the cabbage rose on them, you know? 72 is next. And I'm gonna color those in a little bit more. No, I'm using my BG 13. And again, normally BG 13 does not mix with the 70 family, but I'm trying to pop these kind of forward. Okay. So this petal that I forgot, let's go ahead and get her done because I will forget. And then I'll be all the way done. So I'm putting in a cast shadow because that one petal is much more pronounced. Okay. Now we're doing 22. Help if I took off the right end of my marker. skip 21 and I'm going to go to 20. There's really not that big of a difference. Okay. Alrighty, so there's that one. Now if we wanted to, we could change these up to like a different flower. We could do it like in yellow, which I'm actually not a yellow fan. In fact, I kind of despise yellow and orange. They have to be done exactly the way I like them in order for me to do yellow and orange. But I think yellow would be pretty in this instance. Let's do these buds though. So that's that R24. And where's the other buds? There's one over here. Okay. I just colored my thumb. That was awesome sauce. And let's go over here. And we're going to skip the 21 and we're going to go to the 20. And color those in. Alright, let's do a yellow because why not? So all these same flowers would be colored exactly the same up here. Hi Linda, good to see you. It's been a minute since I've seen you. Am I going to see you on Craft Roulette tonight? I'm going to do Y19. Kind of the same way. Remember how I said to do petal by petal? So I originally was going to do these all salmon, so I put it in that scary dark right there around that flower. So I'm really kind of going over it. So we might bring a little bit of that salmon color in just to tie it in later. But we're going to see how this goes before we get like all fussy about all the things. Okay. All right. So now we're going to go to Y06. So Y08 is much different. This is going to be a sunshiny yellow, but I wanted it to have a scary dark. See how much of a difference that is? We're going to skip, we're going to go to Y04. Now we're going to go to Y00. It'll be our 196th submission. I don't know that I have ever watched 196 of anything. That's amazing. You are an amazing supporter and fan, and that's awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. But do you see, I don't think that red looks real bad with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this R20. And I'm just going to put a couple of those little striations in there. So then that way we kind of pick up some of that red that I screwed up, and you can't really tell that it was a screw up. You see what I'm saying? So now we're going to go to Y19, and we're going to go to this other flower. These are so small, you guys. Like, there's not a whole lot of room to do a whole lot of much, like crazy coloring in it. So like this is a really friendly set to like just lay down some color and have some fun. Y08, Y06. I'm going to skip the Y04. I'm going to go right into Y00. And there we go. What do you guys think? Isn't she pretty? I'm like, she's coming to life, like real easy. And it's not like, it's not rocket science. And I want people to understand that, like, you can make your coloring as hard or as easy as you want it to be. Like, for one, it's your project. You do what makes you happy. That was the YG63. Who wants that? I don't want that. YG67. We're going back because we need to get some of these leaves done. So we're putting in that cast shadow. Now underneath these, I don't know, berries, whatever the heck they are, those are going to be like really dark. And then right here, it looks like this was part of the leaf that kind of curled. So we're going to put that cast shadow there. And we're still putting it underneath the veining. And then this also curls up, so that's going to be bright. And we're going to do a few flicks here in the center. And I'm doing that all dark. I don't know why. I just feel like it needs to be. Couple striations from the center and from the side there. And then we're going to move to the YG17. So the reason I'm not taking both lids off of my markers at this point is I refilled them about 4 months ago. And these are colors that I use on the daily. So they are not quite dry, but they're not exactly like filled to the brim, so I don't have to worry about them burping and like, smudging up the place. So no schmutz. And I'm gonna fill this whole area in because this is like the mid-tone, the darkest mid-tone where the berries are. So I'm not gonna give it much striation because those berries would cause shadow. Now we're going to use the YG03. Hi, Gracie! Enough! She always has to make an appearance. And see how that kind of came out really vibrant. Now, those berries, I don't know what color we're going to do them in. I'm thinking maybe we'll just embrace the colors I don't love, and maybe we'll do yellows and oranges. I don't know. Lisa, this is for you. Lisa says she loves watching images come to life. And it's like sometimes I think they look bad until they don't. And sometimes they just look bad. All right. What's everybody else saying? Nobody? Okay, and then I'm going to draw in the shadows on this one. So a lot of times I map out things, if things are starting to get like, oh God, what is this? Then I start mapping them out. So like the berries are there, so I kind of know like that's the green area and what the yellow is gonna, or the orange is gonna be. So sometimes, you know, it's not a bad thing to map out your leaves. So these little triangles right there, that's actually a white space where the stems are. So you've got to, like, once you start closing in stuff, you really have to pay attention to your line work to see, you know, where you're at. And again, if you make a mistake, honestly, I don't give my cards to somebody who's going to be like, oh, this sucks, or you didn't color this right. I mean, it's a handmade card, you know, and we're all just in this to have a really good time. And, you know, we don't all have to be like amazing at everything we do. We just have to give it the good old college try and have a good time. And that's my theory anyway, and I hope that you guys would feel the same way. YG03. Oh, Tracy, thank you. She says I need to give this to my daughter because it's such a beautiful card. I think I will. So if you keep going over it, it becomes like really blendy. I don't know if you saw me kind of like blend some of that out. Usually with leaves, I don't want them to be blendy. I want them to be real, like show the shadows, show the streaks. But normally, like if I'm coloring like skin, or if I'm coloring anything that's not fur or hair or flowers, I get real blendy with it. But I like nature to look like nature. And I'm going to go real heavy with this again. Okay, so we're kind of going off the page here, guys. So you're not going to get a whole lot of color differentiation in here. But this flower here is putting a shadow right there. Do you see that? But then the rest of that's like open space, open air. Hi, Jana. Happy Friday. We're doing a Mother's Day card. I think I'm going to give this to my daughter. I completely forgot that it was Mother's Day until last night. The days are running together. And since I don't have a mama, I don't think about Mother's Day gifts. So there's that. Because I truly believe, and y'all might disagree with me, I think it's up to the kid to buy for their mothers. I don't think it's up to us to give gifts to our kids who happen to be mothers. I mean, like Alex is a year old. Yes, I probably will get something for my daughter, but really, that's her husband's deal. He should be buying stuff for his wife and for his son to give to my daughter. So I am a true believer that like the kid buys the Mother's Day, or you just let the mother go out and have some time to herself and be kidless. I don't know. I know it's probably not the popular statement to make. It's up to the man, and it's up to, or the significant other, to give it to the mother figure and for the child. Those flowers are beautiful. Thank you, Miss Jana. So what are you doing for Mother's Day, Jana? I am going to, I'm sure, have a girl out and whatnot, but we are not going to be doing a whole lot of anything because, I don't know, have you guys ever noticed that on Father's Day, like, you do all the things and like, oh yeah, but like on Mother's Day, the moms still have to cook. They still have to mom. They still have to, I don't know. I'm jaded, y'all. I'm jaded. Let's like give the mamas a break. So that's how I feel. Alright, so there we are. That was the YG67. I mean, once you've seen these leaves done a few times, you've seen them every time. She's crafting and she goes, I'm not cooking my meal. See, that's what I'm talking about. I feel like the moms 9 times out of 10 have to like still do the laundry, still feed the baby, do the da. I'm like, but the guy on Father's Day, man, they're like Al Bundy on the couch, and I don't know, it kills me. YG03. I forgot a flower. Why don't you guys ever yell like, you forgot a flower? You're supposed to like yell through the screen saying, Dodo. Your loves will spoil you somehow. Well, that's nice. Mine will buy me flowers for the garden that I will eventually put Roundup on. Because you don't buy me a gift that I have to take care of and weed. Because if I have to weed it, it will be killed. Just saying. Now, if you want to buy me diamonds or emeralds or hell, if you just want to take me to Cracker Barrel so I don't have to cook, I'm good. I'm easy. But don't give me a gift that I have to like maintain for like 4 months out of the year. Because I don't want to do it. I'll just put Roundup on it in a month. Or not water it because I don't want to take care of it. God, I am so jaded today. You guys, I'm being real honest with you. Like if you want to give me a gift, like give me a gift that's for me. Like not something that I have to take care of. Like one more thing. And I never used to be that way, but in my older age, man, I'm really totally getting that way. Here's YR09. Now, if you guys are all gardening fools and you love it, by God, I give you all the kudos in the world. Like I like paper flowers because I don't have to water them and I don't have to take care of them. Like give me a good spa day or a massage day or a vacation. I'm all about it. Or just cook my meal for me. I'm like, yay. God, I'm a mess. When I say this stuff out loud, I'm like, oh, what is wrong with you? YR07. This is for you, Lisa. These are my flowers to you, Lisa. Because I'm using orange. It's killing me. Killing me, Slim. YR02, so I skipped 04. YR62 would be pretty in there too. See how those popped? What do you guys think? What do you guys think so far? You agree. See, Linda, I'm so glad I have you because you're like, yep, I agree. Yay. I'm dancing. I don't know. Don't ask. All right. So I think, all right, do we want to do, I need to know, do we need to do these flowers the same as these or do we do the big roses yellow and the rest of them the salmon color? I think, honestly, for continuity, from an artistic viewpoint, that they should be the matchy-matchy. That is just me. But I'll do whatever y'all want. Or if you guys want to say I'm out of here, we've listened to you rant long enough, that's fine too. While you guys are trying to decide what you want to do, I'm going to go ahead and start doing some of these leaves. So this would be a shadow. This would be a shadow. I don't know if you guys have seen some of my videos, but I will legitimately take like my lightest color, and sometimes I will just sit there and color the entire leaf one color, so I'm like mapping it out. Then I'll come back in and do it. Gracie, we hear you and we don't want to. She's been a screaming fool today. And if anybody on here doesn't know who or what a Gracie is a very pretty cockatoo who loves her mother. That's what I want for Mother's Day. I want a day without Gracie. She screams if she can't see me, so she always makes herself very known during our videos. Okay, she makes herself known anytime I leave the room, but she likes to at least put her input in while I'm on camera with you guys. The two are playing games. My house sounds like an arcade now. Okay, and Linda says to keep going. My allergies are acting up. I'm sorry that I keep sniffling. Sniffling. Yesterday, y'all are gonna laugh at my idioticness. I swept the floors, which is an undertaking when you've got birds anyway. And I got like 2/3 of the way done, and I go, I should probably clean the bird cage. So then I started scooping out all the stuff. So our macaw, her cage is like the size of a Mini Cooper, to give you an idea of how big her cage is in our living room. And so I started scooping that out. And, if I could get fitted out the front door, I would have taken it outside and started squirting it down. But you actually have to take her cage completely apart to move it anywhere. Like, it won't fit through a door. Anyway, so I started cleaning her cage, and then I looked around. I'm like, oh, now I have to sweep the floor all over again. And the next thing I know, I had hives all over my face, all over my hands, all over my arms. I couldn't breathe, and it was all because I started stirring up the stuff, and it was kind of comical, but you gotta keep that stuff clean, especially when you own a business. Like, I keep so they're on the first floor. I keep the door locked to our stock room at all times, so none of that stuff gets up there. And I've got a HEPA filter in there, because you can't send out product when you've got pet dander and that kind of stuff. So I really keep our stock room clean and swept. And like I said, I've got the filtration system in there. And I really pay attention to the fact that people have allergies, but one, not only because I want to do what's right for mankind, but I also do it because I know how I feel like when I clean out their cages. So I know that other people would have the same effect, So I really try to keep quality control and keep everything in the best of the best that I can for you guys, because honestly, without the customers, I wouldn't be here. I mean, I'm a what did Linda say? Because Shannon said, wow, Linda, what did I miss? Oh, you mowed the lawn and got groceries. Linda! I feel like for Mother's Day, I should pay to have someone cut your grass, Linda. Would you even let me do that? If you would let me do that, I would totally do that for you. I mean, I live too far away to like drive and like cut it or have Ethan come cut it for you, but I totally, for Mother's Day, I would pay to have somebody cut your grass. I don't even know what your house looks like or your yard looks like. I mean, I know like roughly where you live as far as like what part of town, because we've visited, but I don't know what your house looks like. But I feel like for Mother's Day, I want to do that for you or something. But, wow. Do you have a riding lawnmower? Maybe. So, my husband always giggles. Yes, he's a grown man and he giggles. He always giggles at our neighbor because he's got a riding lawnmower and his front yard is so small. And he's like, yep, there's Dave out there doing figure eights. And I said, that looks like a blast. I said, I wish I was out there doing some figure eights. And Sean's like, no. He goes, it's ridiculous. It wouldn't even be fun to cut that grass. I'm like, fun is in the eye of the beholder, for goodness sake. And I'm like, I would have a blast. I said, if you bought me a riding lawnmower right now, I said, I'd be out there doing figure eights at least, every day. And he laughed. And I mean, I'm telling you, it would be a hoot. But our neighbor sits there. He's like, in his 50s, and he's like, I'll be danged if I'm gonna cut grass anymore, push lawnmower. And so he does figure eights. And my husband's like, yeah. He goes, he has to turn so tight. He can't even keep a drink in his hand. He goes, I don't even know how he does it. I said, I think he's at the point that he doesn't care if he runs stuff over. He's at that age where you can afford to replace it. I mean, I think he is. I don't know that everybody is in that situation, but my neighbor is. And I think he has a dang blast going figure eights in his yard. And I have a blast watching him. You know what I mean? Linda, she goes, I enjoying it. My son is coming tomorrow to cut the bushes for Mother's Day. I have a small yard. It only takes 35 minutes and the sun is out. I hear you. So if you enjoy doing it, then I say more power to you. But I personally would be like, I want to do my figure eights. So if you're listening to me, honey, buy me a lawnmower. Buy me a lawn. Do you know that when I was a kid, I was like 12, and I had this great big huge box like in the middle of the living room for Christmas. I was so excited. Like, I could not wait to open this present up. It was heavy. I couldn't move it. And I'm like, oh my God, what did my dad do? Like, I thought he was the best dad on earth. And for the record, I still think he's a pretty stellar dad. However, I opened up this gigantic box. I mean, gigantic. It was a Craftsman lawnmower. And he goes, Merry Christmas, you're going to have fun cutting the grass this summer. And we had a pretty big yard. And I was pushing that, like, from age 12 to, like, 19 till I moved out. And I'm like, I wanted to flip him off. And I'd be like, But, eventually my brother got old enough where he was able to, like on a weekly basis, he would do, like every other week he would do it. But, yeah, my dad thought he was cute and funny. And I got my very first lawnmower when I was 12 for Christmas. Instead of, like, a cool person. I don't even know what at age 12 I would have wanted. I don't know. I don't care. I did not want a lawnmower. But it was, when we went back and watched it on video, the family just had a blast at my expense. And honestly, looking back at it, the reason I'm telling you about it is because it was funny as all get out. And it was maybe the most memorable, gifts I've ever gotten. So I'm not mad at it. It's just, it's funny. And it's like, you're so funny, Dad. That's the biggest dad joke you ever made. Ha ha. But yeah, it was awesome. I mean, it's awesome talking about it now. But yeah, it was a red Craftsman, and in his defense, it was self-propelled, and I think giving it to me was his excuse to get one. But yeah, I gotta apply more for Christmas, which is maybe why I'm not in the whole gardening thing now. I don't know. So what do you guys think? Do you like this so far? What was the best non-gift gift that you guys got? Whether it's Christmas, Mother's Day, birthday, I don't care. As long as we're keeping it clean and we're not gonna, get kicked off of YouTube and the internet for what we say. What was your best gift that you got? Yeah, I would assume that back surgery would make that not so fun, Jana. I loved working on it until I got sick. And then once I got sick, the days of me wanting to do lawn and garden stuff, I was done. And I'm not going to say that I loved it back then, but I at least did it without complaining. You know what I mean? But once I got sick, I was, somebody else could do it. So that's that same blue-green leaf. And there's one up here that I missed. So I am just kind of drawing those in. I'm putting my shadows where I want it. Tracy says that her best gift was her kids buying her card making stuff. Amen. So, yeah, I think that would be amazing. To give you the craft that you love. My kids, before I owned a company, they would buy me like gift cards like Michael's or my favorite online store. But to be very honest with you, at this point, my kids have no idea like what to get me for Mother's Day as far as like crafty stuff. Because I own it all. Like I own it all. Gracie, that's a no. But yeah, I would be excited if I got some crafty stuff. So what kind of crafty stuff did they get you? Did they get you like just the papers? Did they get you the inks? What did they do? What was your favorite? So I've decided that this flower is going to be red. Just so you're aware. My watch is vibrating like crazy. Somebody's blowing me up. It's always like it waits until I'm on alive, and that goes nuts. Okay. So I'm going to stop there with the R24, which is our scary dark color. R22. Lisa says that when Missy and her hubs bought her the Cricut, Missy made her a puzzle and put it together to tell me that she loved that. Okay. Oh, you love the puzzle more than you did the Cricut. That's very sweet. Your family, Lisa, in my opinion, is one of the sweetest
families I know. Like, I feel like you're all very thoughtful towards one of each other, to one another, and I love the way you guys love each other, and it's very refreshing being your friend and getting to witness some of it. I mean, I've never met any of them like in person, except for including Lisa for that matter, except for like on FaceTime and that kind of stuff. But your family, I just think, is extremely special. And I love the way you guys love each other. And everybody should be as lucky as what you are to have what you have. What do you say, not you, Lisa? That we haven't met, or what? I feel like you're like, wouldn't me? One of these days, Lisa and I are going to actually like meet up in public, like, you know, in the real world, as I always refer to it. And we're gonna like actually like go out to lunch, have dinner, do something, and you know, because I'll tell you what, the first time that Lisa and I had a conversation, it was like I met my sister, and like we could have conversations for hours and we have no idea what it is that we've talked about, but we've cried together, we've laughed together, we've done all kinds of things together, but we've never met face to face. And I have a feeling it would be like an ugly cry if we did. Like, you know, like an ugly happy cry. An ugly happy cry. Is there such thing as that ugly happy? That's what it would be. At least for me, it would be an ugly happy cry. Yes, one of these days, Lord help the public. One of these days, I'm going to do a show up north. Don't hold me to it, Lisa, because you know I'm like trying not to commit to it. But when I do, and we're at the booth together, I don't even know if we would get anything done. I have a feeling we would squirrel the whole time. I really think you and I would squirrel and not like accomplish much. I don't know. I could be wrong. What do you guys think of that flower? Is it pretty? We have spent the whole day on the phone, but then there have also been days where you're like, oh my God, if she calls me one more time. You've never said that to me, but I know you've meant it. You've like, I know that I've driven you crazy. And rightfully so. I have driven you crazy. Is that a leaf? I always get this one. That. Is a leaf. Is it? I colored it the wrong thing. Okay. I'm telling you that sometimes you really need to map this stuff out. I'm so upset right now because I don't know I don't know if I'm coloring this girl. I got lost. I got lost and I need to be found. Okay. Hi, Millie. How are you? Are you having a good day? Thank you for joining us. And that is a leaf that I didn't color. Okay. So Millie, since you just jumped on, I forgot that it was Mother's Day. As embarrassing as that sounds, I forgot that it was Mother's Day. So I thought I'd jump on and color a Mother's Day card. And I really was only going to do this side and not this side because whatever, but we are just going. If you guys jump off here, then that's it. Linda, we did have a fun day together. I need to come back up there and do that again. I really enjoyed our lunch and our adventures, and I really enjoyed going to Simplistic with you. I wish we had gotten there earlier, because I think we would have had a blast. I could have done some serious damage in that store. I need to swatch my sprays so I know which ones I'm missing, so the next time I go, I can get the rest of my sprays. All right, we're going to do this big rose here now. So this definitely is where a petal is curving down. And this one is overlapping. Do you like this? I'm like, oh, I'm just freehanding this stuff now. I'm like, let's do this. Okay. And we're gonna close some of those in. Because where that bud gets real tight, you're gonna have it the darkest color. Okay. And let's get a nice shadow in here. And down here. So I'm even getting messy with it, like getting a little jiggy with it, and because again, these flowers are perfectly imperfect. There's like nature doesn't follow the like same rule every which direction. So that was the R24. This is the 22. You would have been broke. Yeah, we both probably would have been broke. Because I do like to buy, I still like to buy me some supplies here and there. Do you know what's sad? I'm just like every other crafter. I have not taken this stuff out of the package that I bought. I think I bought a couple of Spellbinders dies when I was at Simplistic with you. And I have not even taken them out of the wrapping. They're out of the bag. They're in with the rest of my Spellbinders dies. But yeah, no. I'm just like you guys. Probably worse. So Jana, you were saying thunderstorms. We had thunder storms the other day, and it was real far off. You could see the lightning and you could hear the thunder like it was real far off, and it was real eerie. It almost sounded like bombs going off, like you know, like if we were like under attack. And I asked my husband, I'm like, are we all right? He goes, I think we're all right. He goes, why would we not be all right? I'm like, I don't know, because it's crazy. And I'm like, if the lightning had been like orange, you would have really seriously thought it was fire. Like the way the thunder was going, it was the coolest thing. And we sat on the patio or the porch until the rain came, and it came like a sheet, like it was here and then it wasn't. When it came in, it was hitting the front of the house. It was hitting everywhere. It's like normally it doesn't hit, like we can sit under the porch and it comes from a different direction. But no, the whole thing was just like we were under siege by the rain. But it was a really cool, storm. We didn't lose power, nothing like tornadoes or anything like that. So when I say it's a cool storm, it was like a cool storm to watch, but it was not destructive. That's what, when I say it's a cool storm, it's when nobody gets hurt, that kind of thing. I love storms, and I love watching like storm chasers and stuff. But man, they've got some kahunas that I couldn't share. That would be one thing. I don't think I'd want to be in the middle of all those tornadoes and stuff that they chase, but thank God for them. I mean, we've learned so much about our climate and how to protect people because of them, but wow. All right, those flowers are turning out pretty dang cool. Now we're going to do the yellow, and we're using the Y19. We're using the Y19, which is our Scary Dark. So for some of you folks that are part of the Copic community and have gone to Copic boot camp over the years, my friend Cassandra, who used to help teach that, her husband is very sick. And there is a GoFundMe going for them. If you are not part of the Copic family and don't know what I'm talking about, I am not asking you for money. I'm actually not asking you for money at all. For me, I like it. I don't touch it. But on my social media, I did post the GoFundMe that somebody else created. So none of it goes to me. I have nothing to do with this, but I love Cassandra and the human being that she is. So if you are part of the coloring community and you are part of my personal community and you saw where I posted it, if you are at all inclined to help this beautiful person, feel free to check out my my post on my personal page, and it would be very well appreciated by Cassandra. She's the one that would go around the room and she would teach us, like as the class was being taught, she would help us, and she answered like a lot of the questions, and she's just this bright place in the world. So yeah, if you know what I'm talking about and you know her, consider. I know this is a rough time. I never do this. I never really talk about, hey, will you donate to stuff, because it's just not who I am. But this person has helped a huge amount of us in this community. And so if you know her and you want to do it, feel inclined to do it, the information is on my personal Facebook page. So, or if you don't know if you know who the person is, but you're not friends with me on Facebook and you would like the information, you can email me through info@Pajama Crafter Stamps, and I will send you the link to GoFundMe. I have zero. I am not asking you for money. Do not try to send me money. I will never ask you for money. So if you are wanting to help Cassandra, you will have to go to a GoFundMe page that was made by someone that is not affiliated with me. I don't even know who the person is. So I'm putting it out there. I will never ask you to send me money. If you buy products from me, you will do it through my store. You will never pay me. Was I clear? Oh my God, look at you, Tracy. You're saying this card should be framed. It's so pretty. Thank you. So, thank you. Thank you for that. That's a heck of a compliment. Thank you. So, right here in the center of those little beads, I'm going to use some of this YR09. I'm going to pick up this YR07 if I can find it. But she's one of the people that helped me learn how to color way back in the day. And when I say way back in the day, I just went to boot camp last November. So I still go, even though I can color. because I think we can always learn, and who the heck doesn't want to hang out with their friends and do what they do, you know? So, all right, so here are some more of those like baby breath things. I'm going to start with the BG13, and I'm going to dot that in. So when I look at this baby's breath over here, I feel like it needs to be broken up. Like I went a little too crazy with the blue. So I'm going to use my Sharpie acrylic pen, and I'm just going to dot. Instead of worrying about all the highlights and all that jazz, we're just going to add a little bit of highlight here and there. And then I'm going to freak y'all out. See this YG00? Now normally I would use a 01, but that would be too bright. So usually like orange and green would make like an ugly muddy color. But since we have leaves like in your reflection of the sun, I'm just going in here with this YG whatever 000, and I am just kind of dotting in some green, because you know, like when you look at nature, you see like all the different colors kind of pick up. And do you see how I'm just kind of throwing that off a little bit? And the reason I'm able to do this, even though it's a YG, is it has so much yellow and barely has any pigment in it that we can just kind of dot that in, and we kind of we give it some sparkle. And that's it. You don't want to do any more. Just those little hints of things. And then, you know, I'm going to maybe put some dots in. And the reason I'm doing that is just to break it up, to give you the idea of the sun bouncing off of it. And you don't have to do it everywhere. And the thing is with this acrylic marker, it kind of dries back a little bit flat. So if you want it super white, you would go back over again. And then you, like where you put the spots, and then it would pop even more. So you would paint over the exact same spot. But like if you have some of these places that you like just got too heavy-handed, maybe it looks like trash, you just kind of dot some stuff in, and I don't know, you can kind of make it come to life a little bit. And you can even like tap it with your finger so it dries it back even more. I want that a little bit brighter, so I'm putting that back in there. But you can do whatever you want with your stuff to make it like extra. And it just brings some of that to life. Like, don't be afraid to add sparkle. And that, I think, honestly, is where I would end. Now, what we could do, and I might do, well, I am going to cut it down. I am going to trim it. But we could take a blue dye ink, and we could just, let's do it. We could add some blue around it. Let me see which one I want here. Give me a second. I'm searching for my blue brush here. So I am using Memento Summer Sky, and it's just because it's the one that was closest to me. That was not it's not a Distress Oxide.
Does anybody know why I'm able to use this ink on here on this picture? Or it's because Copics are friendly with dye inks. So the fact that I'm not using a pigment ink or a solvent ink, I'm not disturbing my Copic coloring. Now, these are translucent, just like the Copics are. So they do layer on top of each other, so they will tint it, but you're not going to disturb the actual coloring. Like, it'll still poke through and not smear. What do you guys think of that with just a little bit of that blue? Did anybody ever like think that you could do this? Look how pretty that is. I freaking love it. Yeah, so Lisa's saying, pro tip, always start your ink blending off the paper, which is what you saw me do. I just didn't like say it, so thank you, Lisa. Let's wipe off the desk so we don't have any oopsies. And I don't know, you guys, do I even want to mat this card, or do I just want it the way it is? Here, I need to come back out. Isn't that pretty? Needs to be framed. I think so too. I'm with you, Tracy. So the question is does it need to be... Alright, when you say framed, are you talking about matted, like on a card, or are you saying I need to frame it? I don't know which one you're saying. What is this up here? What happened here? Okay, never mind. I'm losing my mind. It's not a bar trip. Alright, let's see. Where's my trimmer? So somebody's gonna ask me, Lisa, if I like this trimmer. The answer is no. I think it's a great trimmer. I just wish it had a ledge down here. So I just thought I'd tell you that no, the verdict is no. I don't love it. Because I like it. I like having a straight edge at the bottom to butt it up against. So, there you have it. I told the truth. I always tell the truth. But, you know, not my favorite trimmer. Not my least favorite trimmer. I think that it does trim straight and it does those things, but so do we want it this way? I think that way. So do we want a black border on that, or do we want to leave it white? I'm kind of liking the white. I'm liking the white. Do we want it to be a thicker white? Do I have a favorite? I don't have. What, a favorite trimmer? My favorite trimmer is, let me see the name of it. It is the Rototrim Pro 12. And it's the one that sits behind me on my desk. And it goes through a bunch of stuff, but I can't do a 12-inch trimmer. I can't do a 12-inch trimmer on screen. Which is why I'm trying to find which one I like to have for videos. And truthfully, I just haven't come to the conclusion of which one is the best one. So you guys know that I'm a wide border girl. when it comes to cards, and I'm just going to be me. So I am cutting down a piece of double-sided adhesive to be smaller than that. But no, I am not impressed with this trimmer, to answer everybody's question. I don't hate it. I don't love it. Do I think it would be good to take to crops with you and that kind of thing? Yes. Is it my everyday use? It is. It's not. It's totally not. And I have a little piece of that sneaking up. Now, these scissors are my absolute favorite. If anybody wants to know. Like, I want to own like 5 more pair. They're the Spellbinders shears. They're worth every stinking penny. Like, I was really seriously trying to decide if I needed to spend $20 on a pair of scissors after I have every pair under the sun. And the answer is yes. The answer is absolutely. I don't want to put black behind it. I don't want to. No. It's Mother's Day. So I'm taking my Barely Art glue and getting the double-sided adhesive wet, so that if I don't get the layer on straight, then I can at least have a second or two to wiggle it, because double-sided adhesive is so strong that you have no wiggle room. Now you're making me rethink the black. Dang it! Crap. Lisa! Take it back. Everything I said about you. And part of the reason I like this one is this thing is so flimsy, is that it pushes your paper cockeyed before you're ready. That's a me thing. Probably not the trimmer's fault, but it's a me thing. Just saying. That I know. This is for you, Lisa. All right. I am just not like, I don't know, sometimes I'm in the mood to matte and other times I'm not. And this, I have to be very honest with you, I did not want to matte until you guys said to do it, and then the more I thought about it, you guys won. I was not going to do it, but it is kind of pretty, isn't it? It is. It makes it pop, she says. Okay. Let's go ahead. Since I said I wasn't gonna make a card, like the full card, and now that I am, we're gonna get it done. Where's the Misty? That's the broken Misty. Where's the Misty that I used? Come on, people. All right. So I'm putting a piece of black. Man, I love this cardstock. This is our coal cardstock, and it's 110 pounds. And if anybody knows anything about me, I like a really good thick cardstock. And it's going to be too wide.
So I really like this paper, and it's fantastic for foiling, for heat, for what you call it, foiling. What kind of foiling? Like glimmer foiling, hot plates. So I'm gonna use the only patented what you call it, anti-static tool from the rabbit hole that's on the market. I tell you that because I think it's really cool that she got her patent and made an amazing product. So I say absolutely go see the rabbit hole. I used to have these in my store, and I should probably carry them again. But it's the only patented anti-static tool, and it's amazing. Your hands never touch it, never gets oily, and it's the only one on the market that can actually be cleaned. So, and she gives you the cleaning instructions. So there's all that. All right, let's see. We need some white embossing powder. And somebody's going to ask me what my favorite embossing powder is, and here it is. It's Recollections from Michaels. I like the one from Wow. No, well, I like the one from the Fine Detail from Ranger too. And then Wow. So those are my recommendations in order as far as that. But I always say buy the Fine, Fine Detail powders, so you can use it for sentiments. And now let's heat her up. That took a little bit longer to heat up than I wanted it to. Now, I will tell you, I am not going to be a fan of cutting this with this trimmer. Because again, I like to cut it at the bottom. Because I think that this thing very much needs a bottom blade. Okay. And then I put this in on the angle. So I butt the Y, like the end of the Y, up to the little ledger. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm moving this down so you guys can see it. So I'm going to lop this up. See how this falls? I don't like the way that falls. Like it moves too, like it's too loose. Yep, that's what we're going to do. Should we pop her up? I think we should pop her up. So do you guys think that this is still worthy enough to give it to my daughter for Mother's Day? The Huts? Or should I wrap it up and send it to myself? Okay.
Oh my, I'm excited. Let's get some. Oh, do I have my gems? I do. So I figure that girl's best friend should be used since it's for Mother's Day. Everybody needs a good diamond on Mother's Day. At least I think they should have diamonds. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. They are for me, even though I'm not wearing any. It's my wedding band. Okay. We're going to get her done so we can call this a day. We're going to start with there first. So we have these wands in the shop. Look at me, I can't even see the dots. I just love the way these glitter. So I had the best compliment ever when I was at the Chantilly show. One of the customers said, "We just love your gems. They shine prettier than anybody else's." And we were using them in the make and take. So we had like a whole jar of them. And I think it was because there were so many of them that they were like, "Oh my God, these shine so well." But anyway, they were like, your gemstones are so pretty. And I'm like, thank you. I only carry what I love in my store, and I mean that. I really do love what I have here. And they come in 3 different sizes, so you get 3, 4, and 6 millimeters. So they add some interest to your cards, and oh gosh, you guys, I love them. What do you think? Does it need more? Does it need more sparkle? And what's funny is I don't feel like it's picking up. Is it picking up? There, it is so beautiful in person. It just, oh. And the answer was yes, I think it needed more. Yes, please. Okay, there we go. I'm all done. I can officially say that I did not skip Mother's Day. But now my question is, would you or would you not have added the blue ink? I think the blue ink is everything. That's just my opinion. Okay, so for all of your moms to be, moms, grandmas, second moms, fake moms, as far as like the +1 moms, all the moms out there that fill that role. Happy Mother's Day. I hope that you don't have to cook your own meal. I hope you get a fantastic gift that you didn't have to buy for yourself. And at least you get a meal. Don't cook it. Make them cook it. All right. You like the blue? Thanks, Linda. Blue ink gives it more dimension. Okay. All right. I am going to jump off here. I want to say thank you for hanging out with me on Fridays. And I will see you Tuesday night as long as everything goes as planned. Toodles. Bye.